Aloha, kakihaka. Good morning. Welcome to our Creative Connections with our elders. And while we're waiting for everyone to get in and get settled, it's a great time to grab anything that you might need while we are doing these creative activities, whether it's a hot cup of tea, a glass of water. If you have items to smudge and you would like to join us, now's a great time to grab those items, as well as any artistic items that you may want to use today, whether that be crayons, pen or pencil, colored pencils, markers, maybe it's scissors and construction paper, might be a coloring book, and also a journal. If you have a journal and if you're not feeling to be creative as far as artwork and craft work, you can always grab your journal. If you don't have a journal, that's okay. You can also just write on a blank piece of paper or scrap paper. The same thing with drawing or doing any of our creative projects today. You're absolutely welcome to use whatever you have. If that's some scratch paper and a pen or pencil, that is totally fine. We are going to use creativity as a way to heal and explore today, to connect to our inner selves, to find some peace and relaxation. This is one of my favorite ways to practice self-care, and I invite you to join us. I wanted to take a moment to also recognize our moderator and also our CARES counselor, Xavier. Xavier is very instrumental in this program. He does a lot of work involving putting together our activities as far as breathing, as far as how we can connect our bodies to healing, stretching, and various different aspects of creating this program that really does involve the mental health piece. So if you see somebody commenting as the HIR Wellness Institute, that is our CARES counselor and my cohort, Xavier Smart. So good to see you this afternoon, at least virtually, Xavier. I hope you're doing well. And to all of our relatives, I hope that you are doing okay and that you're having a peaceful day. And hopefully you had a weekend where you were able to take moments of leisure, relaxation, reflection, and time with loved ones. So welcome. I would like everyone to know that this is Creative Connections program is geared for our elders, but really everybody is welcome at any age. It's never too early or too late to begin exploring creativity as a way of self-care and wellness. I also wanted to smudge with you right now as we begin to ignite the healing within. I hope that you were able to take a moment to gather what you needed. And if not, no worries. I'm going to smudge, and you do still have time to gather what you need. Today I'm going to be smudging with sage. And I'm going to light my abalones, the stuff in my abalone shell. Good morning. Sending you healing thoughts of cleansing and renewal. May the sun energize you today and restore you. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Malia, and I'm a community healer at the HIR Wellness Institute. We are a nonprofit organization who focuses on the mental health and wellness of our relatives of Turtle Island, as well as other Indigenous and underserved communities. You can join me here Tuesdays at 10 a.m. as we explore and journey and use creativity, art, and craft work as a way of wellness, healing, and relaxation. Today, I'm going to show you some of the art that we can be doing, but really there are no rules. These are simply just guidelines or ways to inspire you to use creativity as a tool for wellness and relaxation. I also wanted to take a moment to recognize our HIR Wellness Board President, Barbara Blackdeer McKenzie. Barbara, I miss you. I absolutely hope that you're doing well, and I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. All right, so today there are two things that I'm going to be doing. First, I do want to continue to complete in colored pencil the coloring page that I began last week. So I'll focus on finishing this. If I don't have time to finish it, I will take a break in between our breathing and our stretching so that I can also begin to explore with watercolor. Now, it's been a long time since I've done watercolor. The last time was in high school, so it's been over 20 years ago since I've experimented with watercolor. However, I have picked the picture that I would like to try and do my watercolor with. I like this because I like the little girl and I really enjoy all the patterns, and I think it's an opportunity for me to play with color. So I'm first going to start with this one though and my colored pencils. But I did want to show you our watercolors for our elders who did receive a Creative Connections care packages. You did receive watercolor and your coloring page. You can pick any coloring page that you like. All you need to begin, if you would like to start with watercolor now, is a glass of water and your piece of work that you want to paint and your paints. You can see there's a paintbrush in there. For our relatives who are feeling that you're not really wanting to do watercolor or coloring or drawing or sketching, if you would like to do some positive journaling, you can also use your journal that was in your Creative Connections package. If you don't have a journal at home, that is okay. You can even write the journal prompts responses here in the comment section. This is a safe place for you to ask questions, comment, share your insights. It's absolutely fine for you to comment here. We do encourage it. All you have to do is like and follow the page so that we can avoid spam and make sure that it's safe for you to type. But anyways, yes, journaling is an option for today, whether you do it on a piece of scrap paper or a notebook or computer paper, or the gratitude journals that you have received. Whether you're doing artwork or journaling, we can continue together. The journal prompts, I will read some out to you as we continue on. Again, as in our artwork, these are just guidelines. They are not rules. You're welcome to take breaks when you need, stop when you need, take your art into your own direction, stretch, breathe, whatever you need to do. So before we get started into our creative work, I also want to take time to grab one of my stones. I use this stone. I have a rose seed on my thumb. You see that? That's a rose seed. I'm just going to put that aside for later. I'm going to plant roses today, I think. I have my stone with me. And this stone I always have near me whenever we meet, whenever we talk. And if ever I'm feeling stressed or anxious or I need to center and reflect, I have my stone nearby that I can pick up, that I can hold, that I can take some deep breaths. And I can put my thoughts and worries into the stone. Also, if at any time you need to take a break, you can do some deep breaths, some stretching. So before we begin with our stretch, I always want to share an essential oil, every time that we do spend time together. Our oil today is Arbor. And I have so much to learn from our Turtle Island relatives. I always enjoy the ancestral knowledge and teachings. If you care to share anything about Arbor, please do feel free to do so. I am diffusing this right now in my essential oils diffuser. It smells very woody. It smells earthy. I know that this is one of the sacred medicines of Turtle Island, but I don't know much. So if you feel free to share and let us know, it's greatly appreciated. I do know that Arbor is a very good oil preservative. So if you are like cleaning or dusting wood surfaces or cutting boards, it's very good for that. It's a strong natural cleanser. I'm going to give it another smell because it smelled so good. I want to smell it again. It has a sweet, woody, piney, very earthy smell. This is one of the trees that you find all over Wisconsin. And it has such a unique ability to preserve woodcraft and wood surfaces. I know that also our relatives of Turtle Island have used it for making things like baskets, clothing, totems, and vessels. It's a very effective cleanser. You can use it topically, so on the skin, and aromatically for cleansing and purifying. Arbor has been referred to as a tree of life. So it smells so good. It smells so good. I also wanted to share the tea with you that I have before we breathe and stretch and get into our artistic activities here. So I have ginger root. I love my ginger and turmeric tea. Here's my ginger root. I peeled it, I coin sliced it along with my turmeric. I boiled it. Now I emptied the water, so it's already in my teacup, but you can see these orange pieces here are turmeric. The lighter colored pieces that I've coin sliced are ginger. I boil it in filtered water, and depending on how potent you like it, you can boil it longer or lighter. I have made it potent today. You can see a very strong orangey amber ale color, and I guarantee you that this is quite a potent tea. Let me go ahead and taste it. It is spicy and it is so good. Feels good for the tummy. It's revitalizing and uplifting. No caffeine necessary for me. Just that spice gets my circulation going and my tummy to digest. If you are drinking any tea out there, you can always share what tea you're drinking. Let's go ahead and do some deep breathing and stretching, and then we can get into our artwork. It's one of my favorite parts of the week, so thank you, relatives, for joining me. I'm going to put my feet on the floor and my hands gently in my lap. You can close your eyes if you like. We're going to breathe in through the nose for a count of 4. We're going to exhale through the mouth for a count of 6. Deep breathing is an excellent way to slow the heart rate, to help stop the mind from racing, It really can immediately bring us to a place of peace and relaxation. Let's breathe, shall we? In through the nose for 4. And exhale through the mouth for 6. Inhale for 4. And exhale. One last deep inhale. And exhale. Let's continue to breathe as we roll out those shoulders. Ooh, I have sunburn on my back, so I'm going to keep this a little bit short, that one. Bringing the arms out. And exhale as we bring that arm across, stretching our shoulder and rolling the wrist. Oh, that feels so good. Another deep inhale. And exhale as we stretch the other shoulder. Oh, that feels really good. I was gardening this weekend, so I'm sore all over. Deep inhale. And exhale as we bring that arm out directly in front of us, gently pushing down on the fingertips of the opposite hand, stretching the forearm and the wrist. Now, if this doesn't feel good, just stay here and roll the wrist. You don't have to bring that hand forward. It does feel good for me, so I am going to bring my hand forward and pushing down. Let's clasp those fingers as we push the palms out, reaching up and gently bending from side. Oh, to side. Oh, I heard a crack. That felt good. We're going to push down on the opposite hand, on the opposite elbow with the hand, stretching that tricep. And other side. Let's go ahead and stretch the neck from side to center. And double tapping the ear towards the shoulder and rolling the chin from shoulder to shoulder. So my temperature gauge in the house this morning, 81 degrees. And that was at around 7:30 this morning. We're going to look down gently towards our lap and up towards the ceiling, stretching the neck. And let's go ahead and stretch out each fingertip. We're going to go ahead and push gently on each finger. As we stretch each finger, perhaps you want to take a moment to again roll out the wrists or stretch whatever feels comfortable for you. I'm just pushing one finger at a time. Now, a lot of the times with artwork, craft work, any creative work when we're using our hands a lot, if at any time you feel discomfort with your fingers or your hands, you can stop and stretch. If you feel like you need to take a break in your mind, you can stop and breathe. You can get a cup of tea or a glass of water whenever you need it. When you decide that you're done, that is absolutely okay. Feel free to switch from your artwork to journaling, or journaling and artwork, or whichever you choose. Or maybe you just want to sit and observe. Whatever feels good for you. I have my colored pencils. I am ready. And while we do some creativity, I would like to check in and ask how you're doing. If you care to share, you are more than welcome to share how you're doing or how you're feeling today. In the meantime, I'm getting my artwork ready. And when we take a break today, we can also talk about the Elders Book Club. In fact, I can even talk about that now. The book club begins in June. We picked our book. It's called Ceremony. I'm so excited to join you with our summer book club. It's absolutely a wonderful way of approaching, reflection and insight and bonding with others. Here we have a grass green from Prismacolor. I'm also going to use a Crayola pine green. And I have a vert or peacock green from Prismacolor as well. And we'll see what happens with these 3 greens. Oh, let me just throw in another couple. We have a grass green and apple green, so we can always go to those. I have my colored pencils off to the side. And for our journalists, I have some good prompts for you today. Let's start off with one. Oh, there's a lot of good ones on here. I found these on psychcentral.com under a blog for journaling prompts for self-reflection and self-recovery. Today, let me start with this neon. I'm going to start with this actually apple green to kind of begin to fill in. Okay, so the prompt for the journaling that we could start by is, my favorite way to spend the day is. What's your favorite way to spend the day? That's just a suggestion. You can journal about whatever you like, or you can do artwork. Either or both. Right now I'm just taking this green colored pencil, and I'm just kind of lightly filling in evenly all around. So see how this one is dark and really rich in colors? That's the combination of a couple of greens. So I want to kind of do that similarly. And then I'm just coloring in. It feels like summer outside, full on summer. And this weekend I was able to garden a lot. And it really felt good to get in the dirt and dig around. And I even found a whippoorwill egg yesterday, a complete egg. And whippoorwills lay their eggs in the grass. And I don't know how common they are, but I was doing some research from the Wisconsin, one of the Wisconsin nature departments. I forgot the name of the department, but they were showing all these statistics of whippoorwill, and I felt really, really fortunate to be able to find an egg. Hopefully the mom is there. I'm not sure. Okay, now I'm going to go to this pine green. This is a Crayola marker, so it's a little bit harder. A lead. It's not as soft as the Prismacolor leads, but you can see I'm going heavy-handed with these leads, with the colored pencil on the outer edges. And that's just part of the style of the way that I like to create my work. And I just kind of go on the outer edges. And then also, I'm going to go around the circles with some heavier handed strokes here. And also when I put pressure on the pencil, and I have these 2 different greens, it really starts to blend them. So you can kind of see here, I'm going around. So far, I have my 2 colors. And now I'm going to bring in a 3rd color. And this one is called Grass Green from Prismacolor. All right, for a journalist out there, remember I asked you your favorite way to spend the day. Remember, you can always share. if you like. And another journal question is, if I could talk to my teenage self, what is one thing I would say? If I could talk to my teenage self, what is one thing I would say? I know what I would say to my teenage self. I would say, you are enough. You are beautiful. You don't have to follow what everybody does. You are uniquely beautiful, inside and out. Be who you really are and be unafraid for being who you are. That's what I would tell my teenage self. And you noticed when I use these 3 different green colors, what happens is the color itself that it turns out to be, the equation of each part, really gives it some depth. And so if you can blend colors, and I could have chosen to do a green and a yellow, or a green and a yellow and a blue, and it would have given it its own, hue and tone of color, but I chose these 3 greens, and the possibilities are absolutely endless. So you can see, and here's the first one I did last week, and here's the one I did this week. And I don't know if you can tell, but the greens are different. You may not be able to tell as well from the computer screen, but they are very different. They look similar, but they're not the same. So I guess they're not very different, but they are similar. But I like the same thing with the orange and yellow flowers. They all have their own different combos. This is a different red, yellow, and orange. This is different. This is different. And it gives it some depth. All right, now I'm going to start with this color green because I want to make this one similar but different. And this is our hard mouth colored pencil in the color of grass green. And for our journal prompts, the 2 moments I'll never forget in my life are: describe them in great detail and what makes them so unforgettable. Describing moments in life, great moments, moments that remind us of the beauty of life, that give us gratitude for being here. I'm going heavy-handed again around the edges, as I usually do. I'm going to work my way up and along. This might be my favorite artistic piece that I've done so far with us, and absolutely brings me it just helps me just be in the moment. So I went heavy-handed around the edges of the circles and of the leaf. Now I'm just filling in. So I'm going around the edges of the circle. Remember, if you need a break, or you need to stretch, that's just fine. And just filling in those edges around the circles. Oh, and just going around the edges. I'm going to finish out this leaf and then we'll take a break and we'll breathe and stretch. And I can tell you about our book that we're doing for our summer book club. I don't like the way this looks at first. It kind of, the texture, it's like doesn't look so pretty, but then the finished result looks really nice. So I'm just going to keep going and get these all outlined, and then I'm going to kind of fill it in too. I'm just gently filling it in, a little bit lighter on my hand as I go around and fill in the leaf. So excited to finish this one. I think I'm going to hang it on my refrigerator. All right, let's go ahead and as I color, aloha Janelle, aloha Tanya, as I continue to color another journal prompt, make a list of 30 things, 30 things that make you smile. And if 30 seems overwhelming, start with 5 things. Work your way up one at a time. Just take a moment to reflect on and breathe and just think about the things that make you happy. The things that immediately bring smiles to our faces. My son, that's what I think of. Being outside in the sunlight this weekend with loved ones, that really brought a smile to my face. I was smiling all weekend and felt really good. So it doesn't look too great, right? It's a little rough and choppy, but then what I'm going to do is take a colored pencil. This one is Bice Green by Hartmouth is the brand. And I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. I'm going to turn the leaf this way so you can see. And I'm going to blend, going in a little bit heavy-handed. And then I'm going to finish it with one of the more peacock green colors so that it can kind of match the different, the other leaves here. Now, as I mentioned before, I chose different color combinations for every leaf and every flower. So these are different oranges and yellows, and they're different from these, which are different from these. And the same with the leaves. When you go heavier handed, it allows you to blend. And the other thing I wanted to say about this blending is the lead of this pencil. So the Hartmouth pencils that I've been using, they are not as soft as the Prismacolors. So if you really want a soft lead, Prismacolors are good. I'm going to kind of push around in here. Can you see how the blending is starting to happen? And again, this harder lead is making me have to push a little bit more. So my hand's getting a little bit tired, but pushing up and through. And I'm really looking forward to putting this final color. And I want to go with a peacock green. It's going to give it a bluish tone to it. And it's going to give it a darker green. And I'm going heavy-handed again around the edges. And oh, it feels so much easier to use this pencil because the lead is soft. And just taking it down. Tanya is one of our CARES counselors. She is a beautiful person and a very, very gifted artist. And if you ever need support and you want someone to talk to, you can call or text our CARES warm line Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and we'll return your call within 24 hours. And you can talk to one of our CARES counselors like Xavier or Tanya. They'll be able to hold space for you and listen to you, judgment-free. They can even provide you with resources that may be helpful for you. Our CARES warm line is really, really good for providing emotional support if you just want to be able to talk to somebody. Let them know how you're feeling. So you can see the depth of this leaf as I continue to color in and go around and blend. It's quite beautiful. Just going through and around. Now look at this. I'm going to take a little break so that I can show you. So far, it's looking pretty good. Different colored flowers, using all different oranges and yellows, different colored leaves. So I'm going to continue to fill in the stems and such. But first, I want to take a moment to breathe and take a moment to stretch. So I'm going to go ahead and take some inhales through my nose and exhale through my mouth. And as I'm breathing, I'm rolling out the wrists, pushing down gently on the fingertips, whatever you need to feel comfy with your hands. I'm going to take a tea sip. And I want to take a moment while I'm just breathing and stretching and resting to share our awesome book for our Elders Book Club this summer. I'm really excited for this book. It's called Ceremony, written by Leslie Marmon Silko. One of our elders, Greg, had let me know that that he read this book and he said it really is a good book. And I'll read it a little bit to you. Tayo, a young Native American, has been a prisoner of the Japanese during World War II, and the horrors of captivity had almost eroded his will to survive. His return to the Laguna Pueblo reservation only increases his feelings of estrangement and alienation. While other returning soldiers find easy refuge in alcohol and senseless violence, Tayo searches for another kind of comfort and resolution. Tayo's quest leads him back to the Indian past and its traditions, to beliefs about witchcraft and evil, and to the ancient stories of his people. The search itself becomes a ritual, a curative ceremony that defeats the most virulent of afflictions, despair. Ceremony. This is for our elders in our elder book club that begins very soon in June. And I will keep you posted as we continue to update. All right, I'm feeling good. I'm stretched. I'm going to go back to do a little bit more work on this flower composition. And then I'm eager to hit up some watercolor. For our journalists, if you're looking for another prompt, here's a good one. When I'm in pain, physical or emotional, the kindest things I can do for myself are. When I'm in pain, physical or emotional, the kindest things I can do for myself are. And for me, it's often to take moments to get into my creative side or connect with my ancestry. Even taking moments to laugh. Now I'm going to do the stems here. I picked a random green and I'm going to fill them in with probably some yellow and some other greens. And this time I'm just going to go light all the way up and down the stem. I'm not going heavy-handed around the edges. Why? I don't know. Just trying something new. Just a different technique. So I went light with this apple green. Now I think I'm going to add in some yellow. I'm going to try this yellow. It's called Yellow by Hertmuth. So I'm going to go a little bit heavier handed now in the center and just kind of blend through. And I'll finish off with a dark green. So I'm just kind of coloring again. I'm changing my technique a little bit. Normally I go heavy-handed around the edges, but this time I don't want to do that until I finish the stems with my final color. So now where the magic comes in, I'm going to pick a grass green Prismacolor. And this now is where I'm going to be a little bit more particular about going heavy-handed around the edges of the stems and blending. And heavier on the edge. And in this case, I'm going to go a little bit heavier just on the bottom and then lightening as I blend up. I like the way that's looking. And I'm going to start from the stem blossom here. And I'm going to go heavier handed till I get to the center of the stem, and then from the edges. And I think I'm going to finish this by blending with another yellow color. So once I finish these outlines, and again, I'm going to pull a little bit heavier on the green. As I work my way down, I'll lighten up on it. And then I'm going to do some final blending by taking yellow. This is dark yellow. And I'm going to blend up. Now here's where I'm going to go heavy in the hand again. And actually, I don't like this brand, so let me switch. Let me do a Prismacolor Canary Yellow. I think this will feel better. And it does. It's a softer lead. And I'm going heavy all the way across. See how that's blending? And it's turning quite yellowy. So I will probably add a little bit more peacock green. To finish off. So I'm going to take the peacock again. It looks very smooth now. You can see it's blending really well, actually. And the peacock green gives it a very finished look. So isn't that amazing? We've probably done like 5 different colors of green. And I'm going to finish on this one. How you doing out there, relatives? You doing okay? And finishing up with this one. All right. Gonna take a moment here and look at, it's really coming along. I am loving it. All I really have to do, I think, to finish is the butterfly and the 2 brown pieces. But I will save that for another day or later this afternoon. Throughout the day when I have moments, I can always go back to it. But it's turning out quite lovely. All right. I'm going to take another moment to breathe. Drinking my tea, and I'm going to get ready to do some coloring with watercolor. I found these watercolor, and I'll actually show it to you. Let me move my stuff. So I found this Crayola watercolor at, I think it was Walmart for 97 cents, which is great. I have the brush came with it. Let me open it up. Oops. The paper came out, but anyways, washable watercolors, 2 times more paint. Sounds good to me, Crayola. And also it comes with a brush. Perfect. And then it comes with the colors of the rainbow plus a brown and a black. been so long since I've seen watercolor. And watercolor and art supplies, they're like pizza. You can get your 97-cent pizza or your from Aldi, or you can get your Pizza Hut pizza, or you can get your fancy handmade pizza at a trattoria. They're all different grades and levels, and watercolors and art supplies are like that too. If you'll notice a difference between if you use a Prismacolor or a Crayola or a Spectracolor or a Hartmouth. So, but yeah, 97 cents at Walmart. And I just have where's my filtered water here in a jar. And I picked this beautiful little native girl. So cute. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to begin with the flowers. I'm going to work on that side. And with watercolor, we're just dipping the brush to get it wet, pushing off any of the excess off the edge, and then I'm going to pick the color. For our journalists, let me give you another prompt in case there are people who are journaling with us. Okay. What would you do if you loved yourself unconditionally? How can you act on these things, whether you do or don't? What does unconditional love look like for you? And if you're having trouble with that, one of the things that you can think of is, how do you love others unconditionally? And we can apply that to ourselves. I'm going to go ahead and just mix some of my paints. I'm going to start with red. Red's calling out to me. I'm going to mix it here on the lid, so you can see, because I want to also add some orange so that we can have kind of a dynamic color. I love color mixing. Absolutely love it. Playing with color for me is one of the ways that I touch my artistic side. I'm also going to do some yellow here. And I can always pull some of that, how it's kind of, I can always brush that off with my fingertip. I wanted a little bit of yellow. I mostly want red. So, and then I'm going to just take my brush. The brush isn't too wet. I don't want it too wet because I don't want to worry about the picture damaging too much. But, we are doing watercolor on a coloring page, so chances are the paper is not going to hold up great, but that's totally fine. And I'm just picking some random colors. And I could have colored the sheet with crayon or marker, but I wanted to explore with watercolor today. It's a whole different medium than doing colored pencil, where you can use a lot of, heavy hand work. You can do a lot of broad work with that, depending on what you're coloring. But this involves more detail and finer motor skills. But it's kind of faster in a way. And this little bit of orange and red I made, it really goes a long way. I'm just very gentle with the tip of the brush. It's very vibrant. I'm even pulling from some of the red over here because it's really wet over here. So I'm just pulling from that area. And taking it across, again pulling from where there's extra wetness over there on that petal. And I think I need to add a little bit more water to my brush. And I'm going to fill in. For our journalists out there, some things I really wish others knew about me. What's something or some things that you wish others knew about you? What about you, Xavier? What are some things that you wish others knew about you? I'll share too. I wish that other people, there's a lot of things, but I'll just say one is like, I actually am thrilled and fascinated by the supernatural. I love a good ghost story. There are few things in life that make me happier than a good old ghost story around a campfire or just talking to friends and family and sharing a good ghost story. So that is one of those things that I wish people would know about me. And look at this. So I got some red. Looks quite lovely. Now, I think I want to, so I have this red already, and I'm going to, right here, see that red orange? I'm going to rinse my brush. So you can see I'm rinsing my brush in the water. There's a lemon seed in my water. This must have been previously lemon water before I filled it. I think I'm going to lighten it up now. So I want to use my yellow. And so I'm going to start a yellow color. I'm very interested in using this yellow. Aloha, Forest. It is good to see you, as always. Forest, I hope you've had a good weekend. Were you biking this weekend? I'm going to add a little bit of that red because I don't want it to be just straight yellow. I liked my colors to all be blended so they have their own unique colors. And then I'm going to go ahead. All right. So I'm going to go ahead, and now I have my yellow, and I'm going to go ahead and just fill in right here. For those of you who may be just joining us, we are doing some journal prompting and any artwork that you like, whether that be coloring, painting, drawing. It's all welcome here. Yellow and red are very stimulating colors. They can really stimulate the mind and creativity. But if you're looking to relax, yellow and red can also over-energize. So I have a cultural arts studio, And in the studio, our walls are orange. And we do that to kind of keep the energy levels up and to stimulate the body and the mind. But it's not necessarily a place where, if you don't want to be overstimulated, yellow can be one of those colors where you just kind of have to choose when and where you use it and for what purpose. Like yellow in a baby's room could sometimes, like if you have a newborn and you have like yellow walls, that can potentially kind of keep them stimulated. So you have other color options that may work better for different emotions or different feelings that you're trying to work with or enhance certain feelings. Oh, I like this yellow. This is cool. I really like the way these. Thank you for letting me do some artwork with you today. I found with watercolor, a little can go a long way. Look at that. It's so pretty so far. I'm loving it. Xavier says, something I wish people knew about me is that I feel really connected to nature, almost like a sense of being home. It's my happy place, so I am happy about this weather. Aloha, Avery. Good to see you. I feel you, brother. Yeah, Xavier, thank you for sharing. Xavier, I hope that you had time this weekend to connect and with the weather. And I know, Xavier, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you are from the Caribbean somewhere. I apologize if that is, please correct me in any way. But so your ancestral land, your indigenous land, it's tropical, right? Mine is too, obviously, the other side of the ocean or the other side of the continent. But I really need warmth to function. Okay, so I have this beautiful flower. Now I did the yellow and red, so let me go with a more orange tone this time. So I'm going to just add to the yellow that I have, and I'm going to focus on doing more orange in it and less yellow. All right, so here I go with my orange. And these are finer details, so it's getting a little bit more fine motor skills in there. But that's okay if I go over the lines, that's fine. It's just fine. And as I said before, a little bit of watercolor pigment goes a long way. It's not like colored pencil. You don't need as much of it. Look at that orange. And I think I'm going to use that orange again to kind of come to the center point here and do this flower in the center. I like the flower to be orange in the center. And I might even go around again in red. Here's another thing about me that I'd like people to know, and maybe some of you know now, is, okay, Xavier says he's from the Bahamas, so very tropical and warm weather. Xavier, your beautiful homeland. I miss my beautiful homeland too. Okay, so another thing about me is I love food. I love food. There's those live to eat people and the eat to live people. I live to eat. I love food so much that sometimes when I'm bored and hungry, I will Google menus just so that I can think about food and enjoy the thought of food. So I'm what you would call a foodie. All right, now I'm going to go back to just trying to be pure red as I can. So I'm going to put a lot of red over here. I'm going to add a couple more drops of water so I can pull more red. And I'm going to go around here. Actually, I don't want to do that part red. I want to do this part red. Oh, this is tricky because it's small. And once I finish going around in these reds, that'll be it today as far as the creative work. We can breathe and we can stretch. And then we can check in. And then I'll be back again later at 2:30. We can do a live post. I think I want to go outside. I'm going to see if I can get outside for our 2:30 reflections and resilience. Man, at the rate these watercolors get used, I would say that these watercolors will last forever. Really, I mean, who knew a 97-cent Crayola watercolor could really go this long? And it really is. I forgot about watercolor. It's been so long. The other thing about watercolors, you got to be careful that your hand doesn't rest on the wet part because you can ruin your picture that way. So that's like a whole nother element. You have to wait for it to dry. Otherwise, you got to be real careful. All right, for a journalist, I'll ask another question. Here's a journal prompt. Aloha, Waynette. Good to see you on. Waynette says she's trying to brick stitch some hoop earrings. I've never tried to bead before or even sew anything. Waynette, that is so awesome. I am so happy for you that you are exploring ways of creativity. That is so awesome. I'm so happy for you. And also, Waynette, I don't know, have you been to Elena's live beading? You can always ask her on the live beading sessions. I believe she does a Monday and Thursday, if I remember right. But that would be a great opportunity to ask her if you have questions. Okay, now look at this. All right, so a journal prompt. If my body could talk, it would say, what would your body say if it could talk? What would your body say? All right, so I have these yellows, oranges, and reds. Now I think I want to do I'm going to go out on the outer edges with some green. I love green. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in there just to give it some depth, because remember, color mixing can really give a lot of dimension by not just using a single color. I never do. I usually use 2 or 3 colors, or 4 or 5 or 7 or 8. I keep going back and forth between this green and this yellow. And so now I want to go ahead on this outer. I don't know if you can see this yet, but I think once I add the green, you'll see that outer part that I'm talking about. Waynette, I would like to learn how to bead too. I have yet to learn. But I'm hoping that I know that our HIR Wellness Institute, Elena, our CARES counselor, she's a beader. And I know that with our Turtle Island relatives, I am so lucky to be surrounded by people who bead. And I hope to learn one day. So you can see the green here. It's like, to all my Turtle Island relatives, hey, I'll teach you how to dance hula. Teach me how to bead. I would love it. I would love to learn how to bead. It's such a beautiful, beautiful way of expressing culture and tradition. I would not recommend these fine detailed paintings for watercolor. If you don't want to deal with like tiny little brush strokes, to be honest, this can be quite tedious. And I'm learning together. And yeah, I would say if you want to be able to do broad strokes and stuff like that I would pick one of the coloring pages that have much bigger gaps of space. Because yeah, this is a little tedious. But it's beautiful. And I actually don't mind it. I do feel that I would need to, if I were to do this for an extended period of time, that I would need to breathe and stretch more. I would need to take breaks sooner. And my brush is getting a little dry, so I'm just dip the tip of it very slightly in the water. And once I finish up with the green, we'll take a closer look at it. And then we can check in. We can breathe and stretch. See if you can see that. It's really pretty though. So our journal prompt was, what would your body say if it could talk, right? Waynette says, it's so tired and painful. Yeah, Waynette, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that you're able to get some rest. And I hope that when you are doing your work, your bead work, and you're able to breathe, that it can help. Yeah. Sending you some healing, positive energy. This is so pretty. I love it. Oh my goodness. So, all right, let me just take a moment to show you. Whew, that does make me have to breathe though. Thanks, Xavier. Oh, so the back, so the back is the front of the coloring book. So let me just see if I can put some there. This should help. It's cool. I'm liking it so far a lot. And when you notice the difference of the textures, when you look at the watercolor, it's very different than the textures that when, we're doing this type of work. It's very cool. I absolutely love doing the watercolor today. Very much so. As I continue to work on this, it'll be really interesting. Now, once we get to the little girl, this is going to be very difficult for watercolor. So what I think I might do when I get to her is switch back to colored pencils. And that could create some really interesting contrast between the girl and this beautiful mandala type abstract flower. So I will probably do that. But yeah, look at the colors. Just with Crayola watercolor, guys, this is just at 97 cents at Walmart. It comes with the brush. I just used an empty spaghetti jar. So it really, really is just an excellent way to color and relax. Waynette says, I have an autoimmune disease, so the weather has a lot to do with my body, how my body feels. My mind says I can do anything, but my body says, not today, sweetie. Waynette, thank you for sharing. And I'm sending you some positive and loving thoughts. And I hope that when you are able to do things like the beading and spending time with us, that it helps. So thank you for being with us, Waynette, when you are. We appreciate you very much. Much aloha, love, honor, and respect to you. And sending you strength on this journey, right? Our journey of wellness and self-care. This amazing path of life. Right. Waynette, you did share. Anyone else who would like to check in? I'd like to see how you're doing right now. I always, when I check in, have my stone nearby so that I can hold on to it. Use it as a grounding tool to put my energy and worries into. Maybe you have a stone or a crystal or a shell or something that you can hold. One more time, let's look at the artwork. Yay! Woo! So this will be done fairly soon, right? It's almost done. Loving the dimension of the watercolors. Put my hand behind so you can see it better. Waynette, I hope that you are able to join us for our Elders Virtual Summer Book Club. And to all our elders out there, it begins on June 16th. If you would like to sign up and read about ceremony together, just send us a private message on Facebook here, or you can contact us at 414-520-1025. And you can see that linked right here on our, Xavier has posted it as a comment. And you can see. So please do, for all our elders out there, if you are interested in the Summer Book Club, do reach out. It begins on June 16th. And if you're in the Wisconsin area, and if you're not, we can try our best to do what we can. So please do feel to reach out to us and ask questions with the phone number provided, or you can Facebook message us as well. Before we go, let's take some moments to do some deep breathing and to stretch our fingers. I'm going to stretch one finger at a time. We did a lot of great stuff this morning. I hope to see you again at 2:30 if you're able, as we reflect and honor our resilience. I'm going to clasp my fingers together and push the palms out. And I'm going to roll out the wrist. And I'm going to finish by bringing one arm forward, gently pushing down on the fingertips, stretching the forearm. And the other side. Some deep inhales and exhales. Before we go, I want to say thank you so much, mahalo nui loa, for joining us as we use our creativity as a way to reflect, as a way to explore wellness and self-care. Malama pono iko kino, take good care of your body. I'd also like to ask that before we go, that you take a moment to click on our community survey. It's provided here. The link is on this video or on the video comments. When you click on the survey, it asks some anonymous questions, just a few brief questions. And it really helps us to understand how to best serve you, our relatives. Waynet says you're reading the book, reading Break. Break. Interesting. You'll have to fill us in on what that's about. And also she says her reservation is on lockdown. There's been a rise in the COVID cases. Be safe out there, everyone. Relatives, this is a safe way for you to join us on these videos. Contact free, but connection positive. I want to say, ahui ho akuno. I will see you later. Waynet, I hope that you take care and that you're feeling okay today. Remember, if you need any emotional support or would like someone to talk to, please do call our CARES Warm Line. It's open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can call or you can text, and we'll return your call within 24 hours. Aloha nui, everyone. So much love and respect and honor to all of our elders. And I hope to see you at 2:30. Have a safe and peaceful afternoon. Aloha.